Do you have a brilliant startup idea but are stuck in the launching phase? Are you feeling overwhelmed by funding, marketing, or just where to start? Don't let your startup idea stay grounded. Visit our website at eapla.com to schedule a Blue Couch meeting and launch your startup journey today.
Welcome back to On The Cusp, okay? We got another episode. Heck, this is really good. Maybe we should just do all of them this way.
Yeah.
Matt's back with me.
We're back.
Yeah, we got a few more sessions to record today. Who's our guest today?
We've got Shawn Boston from Bosman Barber College, and this is exciting because, I mean, being a barber has always been a cool profession in my mind.
You know all the dirt on Shreveport, right?
Pretty much.
But you're more than you're more than a barber school. You got how many barber shops?
I have 4 barber shops, Barber College. I used to own a restaurant. I own a barber supply store. I have vending machines, ATM machines.
Oh, you are the ultimate entrepreneur. You just can't get enough.
Man, I gotta have it. You know? Gotta have it.
You know, you got a guy sitting in the chair. He's got a good idea. Shawn
hooked.
puts it in action.
You're hooked, man. Okay, you tell us. Well, tell us, what's it like running a barber school in Shreveport?
Man, running the barber school in Shreveport is now challenging. You know what I'm saying? Because when Title IV kicked in, that's when the good and the bad comes out. You know, when I was self-pay, you know, you had more serious people then, you know, because they paying out of pocket.
Right.
You know, so Title IV is financial aid, you know, people giving, I guess, not free money, but money to help them
the
pay
federal
for
guaranteed loan to go to school.
Yeah, so some take it serious. Yeah, some don't. I'm here for my mama. I'm here with my best friend, you know. Me and my friend here today, so he want to be a barber, but I'm just following you because you my friend.
I got nothing going on, you know.
So let me try this.
Let's see if I can learn a couple trades, cut my kids' hair.
Plug up people.
Cutting hair is serious business because if you get it right, they love you.
That's right. And you get it wrong?
You get it wrong, and you hear about it forever. Just mess it up one time.
That's
I've been
it.
going to the same barber for 10 years.
Wow.
Okay.
Breaking up with a barber is about the hardest thing.
Man, don't let me catch you cheating on me.
I've been accused.
Oh, yeah.
She's accused me of cheating on her. I said, are we married?
That's right.
And she said, well, yes, we are.
Yeah, so you edge off a little bit, so yeah.
Okay.
You've been cheating on me. That's not my fave right there.
That's right.
You've been cheating on me.
But hey, so let's talk about this. You got Title IV. Did you see a big wave of input when you got Title IV qualified?
Yes, sir. When I first started off, it was I started out teaching in Mansfield. Okay. You know, they had a alternative school open up for kids that was like 2nd grade, 3rd grade reading level, but they was up in age, trying to show them a different path where they can go into once they finish school to become maybe into trading, you know what I'm saying, or any type of trade school, you know. So I taught barbering, and so when I taught them, I feel like, you know what, since I'm teaching them, I could teach others, you know, I could do this on my own. So I told my wife, I said, no, I'm gonna do a barber school, my own barber school. The only school back then was just Votech, you know, for years Votech was on the barber school. So, you know, had my money saved up, I opened up a barber school right there where Ray's Auto and Trim at, and it was self-pay, you know, it was self-pay. You know, people had to pay me out their pocket, and my first 2 students really didn't pay. You know, honest God truth, I opened up October 1st, and I closed October 31st, but no one knew.
What year did you open the barber school?
2010.
And then you made it through COVID.
No, well, COVID didn't hit until 2020.
Right.
So
Right.
10 years later.
But you made it through,
later.
probably that was a significant challenge.
Oh, that was fun, though. COVID was fun. I'll tell you about that, but I'm going to tell you about that. But
Yeah, tell
when
us
I opened up in 2010, like I said, self-pay, my first 2 students really much didn't pay. My first student, I had to go to court and tell the judge, I'm responsible for this young man. You know, anything he do wrong, it'll fall back on me because I'm mentoring him. So I had to sign paperwork on this young man. And I opened up October 1st, closed October 31st. No one knew. I just went back to the barbershop where I was comfortable at.
Right.
You know, so long story short, you know what I'm saying, I was told you either gonna do this school or you're not, you know what I'm saying? That was me and God talking, and so I just went all in January 1st, 2011. Never looked back. Votech closed night class, got nice students coming in from Votech, self-paying, you know, working on the financial aid paperwork that is tedious. You know, we mailed it in. My wife forgot the number of pages. They sent it back to us. You know what I'm saying? So I had to redo that over again. Had to send it back in. You know, I think something else had went wrong. I think didn't dot the I and cross the T.
Yeah.
They send it back to us. You know,
it.
it's tedious. You know what I'm saying? They want you to pretty much, I guess, not get it or see how bad that you really want it. You know, and so the lady called us back and said that she never had a school send this paperwork right back to us like this. I mean, we was overnighting it, paying that extra money. Look here, we want this we want this Title IV, you know, we deserve it. So once we received Title IV, I went from like maybe 20, 30 students to 75.
At one time?
How many at one time?
Boom, like that next enrollment, boom, I had to move. Because the spot I was at had 12 chairs, so where I'm at now I have 26.
And how many students you have right now today?
About 43.
Is that consistent?
How long do they stay in? How long does it take them to graduate and be a certified barber?
It's a 1,500-hour course. You know what I'm saying? The ones that really want to be their barber to get all the Grammy news from the people, they do it in about 10 months to a year. But the ones that I'm in here because you're my friend,
Yeah.
you know, a year and a half, 2 years, they just playing around, you know, just doing something, you know.
Yeah.
So, but it's a 1,500-hour course. We can do it, well, they can do it in about 10 months to a year if they come in seriously.
And then, okay, so you have a kid comes in or guy comes in, girl comes in, you teach them how to be a barber, they graduate in a year. Do you help them find somewhere to go?
Yes, I take my senior students. Once we reach 1,200 hours, we ride around. We go to Joseph's shop, we go to G Styles, Tight Edge, any barbershop that I know of, or any barbershop that allow me to come in. You know, I'll go in and I'll take the students out and let them just feel the vibe. You know,
Right.
That's the new thing. You know, the vibe has to be right for them to go to and cut. Or I'll put them in one of my barbershops. You know, so I pick the best of the best.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
you do. Absolutely. I would expect
I'm sure
nothing.
your barbers are pretty
Right.
good.
Right.
So I
Now,
pick the
are
best of the
barbers, you know, are they 1099s generally to the barber shop, or are your barbers employees?
Well, mine is 1099. I'm trying to work toward Joey level, which would be employees, because that's where the real money at as an entrepreneur. You know, like a sport
Right.
clips or one to cut. You know, but right now they 1099. I kind of let them get all their money. You know, and I get some of it.
A lot of
Right, right,
salons,
yeah.
a lot of salons and barber shops are
Just renting
that
chairs,
way.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
renting
they're just
chairs,
renting
you know,
chairs,
yeah.
but you're not going to rent a chair to somebody unless they're bringing business in. It doesn't do any good, you
Correct.
know, for somebody to
Correct.
sit there in their own chair.
That's right, and that's when the other shop comes into play as the employee.
Right.
You put them in a shop where they're afraid to build a clientele, or they're nervous because they fresh out of school, not knowing what to do. Okay, I'm gonna put you over here where the flow is coming, but you can work hourly.
Yeah.
You know,
The
so,
barbershop's bringing them in.
Yeah, the barbershop pretty
Yeah.
much bringing them in. You know?
Yeah, with Title IV, I mean, you really get, a lot of people don't realize, but you get rated on whether your students get employment.
Correct.
And the more your students that get employed, the higher your rating,
Correct.
you know, from the regulatory boards on that. So it's really important. I know a little bit about Title IV. That's good. So what was your biggest challenge getting started when you said, hey, I'm going to do this barber school? What was it?
I guess the biggest challenge was when I was just a full-time barber, I was cutting 150 to 170 heads a week. So the biggest challenge with me was leaving the barbershop and then sitting in a chair or at a school teaching guys that don't know how to cut, and then these 150 to 70 people want a haircut from me still, and I can't cut them right now because I'm teaching. So I had to try to fit all them
Time
in, but then
management's
correct,
key.
it was major. So
Yeah, you were doing two jobs simultaneously.
oh yeah, sometimes 3.
All right, so tell me about COVID.
COVID was fun, man. You know, first of all, you know, no one knew what was going on, but you know, we had to leave the school, but we had to still teach. So I got a chance of teaching a shirt in my drawers, and no one knew. You know,
So you just went online. Your students just logged in.
Logged in. I had my shirt and tie on, and I had my book and my mannequin and my shears and stuff, and teaching them, you know, at the table. you know, and I'm in my drawers and socks. They didn't know.
You don't know what they were in either.
Correct. Correct.
So you never missed a beat.
Never
you
missed
just
a beat.
Kept teaching them.
Kept teaching them. So when it came down to mannequin, you know, then I get dressed and pull out the mannequin and you know, show them different techniques with the layer cut, perm rods, color retouch, things they need to pretty much be prepared to pass state board.
Gotcha.
Yep. And they have a board exam.
Yes, sir.
So there's a state regulatory commission that regulates the certificate. They issue a certificate to you, and then you issue a certificate to the students when they graduate.
Well, pretty much once they reach $1,500, we send their paperwork in to the state, let them know that they are ready to take the next state board. So once state board set an exam, they go in to wherever it's going to be at, Shreveport, Monroe, and they go in with a live model. They have to do a style cut, a taper fade, a 90-degree layer cut, perm rods, color retouch.
So they got to bring their own model in there.
Yeah. So once the state board guys, they make sure they're doing everything right, grade them. Once they pass, the state will mail them their license to them.
Okay. All right. I did not realize you had to go in and cut in front of the. So it's a real hands-on test.
Yes, sir. Real hands-on. So just like school, real hands-on. They come in and and a lot of people come in and they see the word Bos-Man and they think it's my barbershop in St. Vincent Mall or the barbershop in Bossier, Greenwood Road or Pines Road. No, this is the school. You know, and big old signs say all service is done by supervised students, but they don't read that part. They just say, oh, hey, it's Bos-Man. I'm gonna get a haircut. You hear him on the phone. I'm at the barbershop. No, I'm at the barber school.
Yeah.
So they come in and you have students cut their hair.
Oh, yeah.
As part of their training.
That's right. Now, this Tuesday, we doing free haircuts for our veterans. You know, from 10 to 7. Just come in and get your free haircut. We'll shampoo you. Might even give you a facial if you want it, you know. Just anything free.
Work.
Yeah, we do beard work. We do beard washing, you know, all that.
Dude, that's awesome. Okay, so that's enough of all this school stuff. I want to hear about the real dirt.
Yeah.
You got to have some crazy stories, stuff you hear.
Man,
do you hear crazy stuff all the time?
All the time. It's always
What is
something.
it about when somebody gets in a barber chair, they tell you their whole life history right there?
History is true, you know. So in the book of barbering, you know, history, you know, with barbering, you know, we become doctors, psychiatrists, friends, brothers, fathers, you know, they come in and just want to spill their guts out. They had a bad day at work or a bad morning with their wife. They come in. I've had plenty of phone calls. Hey, boss man, can you cut me at 5 o'clock in the morning? I'm like, sure. You know, from big time preachers in the area, some big time, you know, people that have offices. I've cut them and, you know, can't tell all the stories, but if you get up 5 o'clock in the morning, somebody want to talk.
Yeah.
Somebody want to talk, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, we pretty much almost like counselors too as well. You got a lot of people.
Coaches and mentors.
Yeah. You know, even with the students, you know what I'm saying? Students have a lot of issues that we have to kind of foresee and kind of wing them through to make sure that they finish or make sure that they're mentally sound now, you know, so it's a lot, man. I even got into it with a couple of students before, you know, yeah.
All right, I got to ask you something. All right, so I like to go to New Orleans a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to go for a long time in the Omni in the French Quarter. There was this old Italian barber. He'd been there like 60, 70 years.
Yeah.
And on his walls, he's got a fancy barbershop on his wall. He's got pictures of him cutting like governor's hairs through the, you know, he's a famous barber. And every time I ever go to him, he says, man, you got some lady haircut girl cutting your hair. They don't know how to cut hair. And he thinks the skill of being a real barber has died. That there's no real barbers left. He would love you because he says, you know, they're going to girl haircut school.
Yeah.
And they're not learning to be a true barber.
Correct.
Is there really a difference?
To me, it is too. I'm like him, you know what I'm saying? A lot of guys, cosmetology school versus barbering is different, but nowadays, a lot of these young barbers, man, they watching too much YouTube or they want to use too much enhancement or too much powder and different things. Go back to the old true art of barbering, you know what I'm saying? One thing y'all finna know now, Louisiana is the only state that does not allow barber students to use plastic detachable guards. We have to use actual real blades and clip over comb technique to become true
Is that
barbers.
right?
Oh, cool.
Go to Texas, you use plastic guards. Go to Arkansas, you use plastic guards.
Right, and
Mississippi,
that's the
plastic
thing you
guards.
snap on the...
Correct. Something you can do at the house.
That's right.
But that kind of separates us from other states that make us really true barbers. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? So that's one thing I know he probably...
Right, and
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
also heard, maybe you can validate this for me, I've also heard that Louisiana is one of the few states that require a physical school. There's no 100% online in barber and cosmetology in Louisiana.
Barbering has an apprenticeship program too. So we have the barber school and we have the apprenticeship program. The apprenticeship program is for, I guess, the guys that already know how to cut hair, don't want to go to school. So they go to, say he's a licensed barber. I sign in up under him and I pay him, I pay the apprenticeship program, and then I go to school online. I do everything online. So they do have an apprenticeship program in Louisiana, but we also have a school. So
Okay.
apprenticeship program is $4,000 compared to
Yeah,
the
but
barber
still,
school.
I mean, it's a physical school. You're
Yeah.
not just, doing everything online.
Correct, yeah,
Okay,
correct, yeah.
and never have to cut anybody's real hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. True.
So definitely.
So
that's a
what are your students like in Shreveport? What kind of people do we have looking for jobs in Shreveport and wanting work?
My students, I teach them more than just barbering. You know what I'm saying? Because once you leave the barber school, it's a real world out there.
Right.
It's a real barbershop out there. So I give them more than just haircutting skills. I give them life skills. I teach them how to save money. I teach them different strategies. I teach them how to start their own business. We go over the EIN information, branding themselves, you know what I'm saying, building their logos and different things like that. I have a young man now going through the process. He's gonna open up a shop on Lakeshore. Okay. So I want to teach them more than just cutting out. State board is gonna be state board. But once you get into that, that license, then what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I tell them all the time, if you can work hard for someone else, you can work hard for yourself.
Man, Lakeshore's on fire. Me and Dave were in native Orlando's. I hadn't been in a few months.
Yeah, that's
I
amazing.
mean, it was 2 in the afternoon. It was packed.
Yeah.
Lakeshore on like a Monday.
Yeah. So
Lakeshore's on fire. It's having a comeback.
you got to just
So you
teach them
got
how to
4
work hard.
barbershops right now in Shreveport.
4 barbershop.
Where
Greenwood
are they
Road. Yeah, Greenwood Road, right there where Super One at.
Yeah.
St. Vincent Mall. Mm-hmm. Pierre Bourgeois Mall, down there by the old Sears.
Right.
And Pines Road next to Dollar Mania.
Cool.
That is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And how many barbers do you have working with you?
Greenwood Road, 8-chair shop. St. Vincent, 10-chair shop. Bossier is 12, but I think I have 8 in there. And then Pines Road is like 15 chairs. I have maybe about 8 or 9 in there.
So you have like
for now.
35, 40 barbers.
Oh yeah, that's,
Dude,
that's
awesome.
amazing.
Oh yeah.
That's good.
Man, so you're making Shreveport look good.
Well, we have to.
Keeping them
Somebody
tight.
have to. We have to make somebody look good.
All right. How often should I go to the barbershop?
Yeah.
What is
The way you dress every week. You gotta be fresh.
Yeah, no, I like
You know what I'm
it.
saying? You gotta be fresh every week.
You
man.
heard it from the boss, man.
That's
You
right.
gotta be
Weekly.
fresh,
Well, it used to be that way. I mean, you go in for a cut and a shave, okay? And if you got a beard, I don't care what you say, you cannot get it right in your mirror. I'm convinced.
Oh yeah.
All right?
That's what
You
we
gotta
for.
have. Yeah, you got to have somebody.
That's awesome.
trim it for
Well,
you.
thank you,
Oh,
Shawn.
Sean, this has
That
been
was awesome.
great.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Man,
And
appreciate it,
this is
appreciate it.
great. I'm going to come down there and get a shave.
Most definitely.
Thank
most
you,
definitely.
Shawn,
most
man.
definitely,
Great to
man.
meet you, man.
Most definitely.
Enjoy the podcast? We would love your feedback about today's show and who you think should be our next guest. Send us an email at info@eapla.com. Also, be sure to share the show and leave a comment on our social media post.